Welcome everyone to the very first episode of the Es Una Final pod. I have with me is Charlie. Charlie, welcome to the show. We've been talking about this for a few days now. Finally, we got the chance to do the pilot episode or the first episode, whatever they call that. So how you doing, buddy? And how's everything?
I'm awesome. I'm super happy to be here. Super happy to be starting this. I can't wait. This is gonna be such a fun ride, and I'm just really hyped to get going. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for starting this.
Yeah, same here, same here. And just to begin things, I think we can probably start by telling a little bit about ourselves. I'm Mehedi. I write about Real Madrid. I write a monthly piece for Managing Madrid. Some of our listeners might have picked one of those articles up. I also have a platform called Madrid Betar. Es Una Final Pod would be in collaboration with Madrid Betar. And I've been supporting Real Madrid all my life. The last couple of years, the last 2-3 years have been more from a writing perspective, from an analysis perspective. They've been really big. And also recently, for the last, I think, 6 months or so, I've been really into data analytics as well from the football side of things. And Charlie has had a huge part to play in that. So thank you for that as well. So yeah, Charlie, if you can tell us a little bit about your work as well. I think many of our listeners would be definitely intrigued about that as well.
Yeah, I'm Charlie Tuley, also known as @Analytics Liga on Twitter. That's kind of my medium. I'm from East Lansing, Michigan, currently living in Ann Arbor. I've been a Real Madrid supporter for about the past 10 or so years. I'm 20 now, so about half my life. And I've been following them much more closely for about the past 5 or so years and doing more in-depth work. And I've recently, as of this year, started writing for Managing Madrid, just like you. And I've tried to take on a bigger role with data analytics and stuff. I've now joined with the San Jose Earthquakes as an intern doing data analysis. And that's really it about me. I'm just looking to trying to get into more of a professional role with somewhere in the future. So we'll see where that goes. And this is just an awesome medium to try and put myself out there even more and try and gain as much of a following for us as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for the introduction. So for the listeners, basically, what we're going to do in this Es Una Final pod is we're going to talk about Real Madrid, of course. We're going to talk about La Liga. We're going to talk about Spanish football. We have many other, I would say, friends who are doing excellent work on Twitter. We're doing excellent work all over the internet, basically, about Real Madrid, about Spanish football. And there is just so much to cover about Spanish football and Real Madrid that you'll just never get, you'll never run out of content if that's your thing. So starting with that, I think, Charlie, Madrid has started their preseason. I think it's been 3 or 4 days. It's good to see Carlo Ancelotti back at Valdebebas wearing the training kits and all. Antonio Pintas is back. Luis Lopez is back as the goalkeeping coach. We were not seeing so many familiar faces apart from Marcelo, Carvajal, Lucas Vasquez, Odegaard, and so many of our players are still in holidays after their Euro duties, and some of them are still playing in the Copa America. But any early things that you have noticed or picked up from the preseason training, or anything that you've observed, maybe?
The one thing that I will say I'm very happy about, not on a personal note, but I'm very happy to see Luka Modric getting knocked out of the Euro early, Toni Kroos getting knocked out relatively early. I genuinely, I'm American. I don't care how they do for their national teams. I want them out as quickly as possible to give them much rest. Because if those guys really want to be going their 40, 50 games a season, they really need their summer off. So I could not have been happier to see them go out relatively early. And I think Casemiro has been playing with Brazil quite often, but I mean, I don't know how intensive those games have been, and they obviously have many rotations they can make. So I think we should be in a good spot relative to fitness starting the season. And I do believe Real Madrid announced this morning their preseason friendly against Rangers, I believe, at the end of July, which that should be very interesting because I don't recall the last time we played them or any kind of Scottish opposition. So that'll be very interesting to see. And I would assume that won't be a crazy tough opponent, so maybe we can get a lot of the younger guys out there and see what they can do, see how Odegaard's been doing and how he might fit into Carlo Ancelotti's system. So I'll be very interested to see that.
Yeah, I think last season we played one preseason game against Getafe, and that was not telecast anywhere. I think Madrid won that game 6-0, and Benzema scored 4 goals. So like we have kind of an inside joke here that whenever Madrid used to lose points or anything, I used to tell people that preseason game was a complete hoax. There is like absolutely no way this team scored 6 goals against anyone. Yeah, and an interesting point that you said about you were kind of happy that many of our players got the extra rest because of getting out of the Euros early. So I support Argentina in the international football. So also it's like same for me as well. I don't really care what the others are doing, and also there were no Real Madrid players in the Spain team this year either. So yeah, I would have loved if Casemiro, Vinicius, and Militao, all of them would have gotten knocked out earlier in the Copa America. Argentina's job would have been much easier, but yeah, anyways, we have a huge game in our hands for the weekend. And yeah, I think as far as the roster or the squad's concerned, there is, I think, whatever we have right now, this is definitely not going to be the squad that's going to start the season. I think there's going to be a few more departures. I'm not really confident about many players or any players coming into the squad for that matter. But yeah, the Rangers game should be interesting. I think relatively easier opponent, but I think still Gerrard's Rangers is an exciting team. As I've heard, I haven't really followed them, but as I've read stuff about them, that they're an exciting team, and I think many players like Rodrigo, Odegaard, they'll definitely have a shout out in this game. So it'll be interesting to see, and what kind of early tactics also Ancelotti tries out with this young guys. What do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm really interested to see how we get some of these fringe players like Kubo, and I would even classify Odegaard as a fringe player at this point, just how little effect he had on the squad last year. Obviously, there were things going on with him and Zidane and things like that. But yeah, like Kubo is a big one I want to see because I don't believe he'll be with the squad next year, but I would love to see him with him because he's just such a fun and dynamic player. There are other guys. I like Miguel Gutierrez. I want to see what he does because I feel like he could have a big part with the squad. They're talking about him being with Castilla for next year.
Yeah,
I have not really a problem with that because they call him up whenever. Also, saw him looking to get transferred to West Ham, which that blows my mind, but that's for another day. Yeah, I want to see how we get these really young guys into the team because I think we have such a good young base at the moment, and if we really nurture these guys, they can come into they could be a great class in the next 5 or so years and hold the ground for the squad for years to come.
And I think Kubo is with the Japanese Olympic team, though. I don't think he's going to be starting soon, just like Ceballos, Mayoral, and Asensio. I think these are the guys that got picked up from Real Madrid
you're right.
for the Olympics. I'm not sure about Mayoral. Probably I'm missing something, but yeah, I think Kubo is going to be out until the Olympics are over. But yeah, apart from that, it's just good to see these guys back wearing the training kits, wearing the Real Madrid kits. Ancelotti still has Brahim Diaz at his disposal as of now. But I think he's still in talks with AC Milan, and he's probably go out on loan. I think it's more towards AC Milan than Real Madrid at this stage of the preseason. But we'll definitely see what happens.
Yep, I agree. I think he's going to be heading out, which I think is a good move for him. I mean, he played very well last year with them, and well, I think he's a great player. I think getting the 25 or 30 million euros that they're asking on the obligation, I think that's a pretty good deal for Real Madrid, given their financial status at the moment.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Charlie, I think we've done about 10 minutes of this first intro episode of the Es Una Final podcast. We'll wrap it up here, but for our listeners, tons of stuff will be coming through from both myself and Charlie. We'll definitely try to have more guest speakers from other La Liga teams as well to give you, further insight into Spanish football. That is going to be one of the primary goals of this channel, along with for the Real Madrid stuff. You obviously have me and Charlie. We do a lot of data analytics as well. We'll definitely be retweeting our work from the from the channel that you can see on the bottom of this screen as Una Final Pod. Don't forget to follow us and be with us. I think this is going to be an exciting journey throughout the season, and we'll see you the next time. Take care.
Thank you.